In Victoria, the most scrutinised contest will be in the electorate of Melbourne. It's currently held by the ALP with a margin of 4.7%. The Greens are hoping to create history by winning their first lower house seat at a general election. Adam Bandt is the Greens candidate. He and his main opponent, Labor's Kath Botel, join us live from central Melbourne. Welcome to both of you to Stateline. Adam Bandt, if I can start with you, Adam Bandt, if it's a hung parliament, which party would you back to form government?
I've made my position on this crystal clear over the last few days. If we do end up in that situation, which I think is unlikely, but if we do, my very clear preference is to support a Gillard government and to help keep Tony Abbott out. When you look at Tony Abbott's views on women's rights, on what he's planning to do to education and of course work choices, which I lived through as an industrial lawyer, I want to do what I can to stop that coming back.
And what will you demand in exchange for your support?
Look, my priority would be making sure that we had progressive, effective and stable government. And I'd look forward to having some open discussions that wouldn't have preconditions on them, but I'd hope to be able to deliver progressive outcomes for people in Melbourne and across the country.
And again, if there's a hung parliament, what role do you expect to play with the other independents?
Look, I'd like to talk to the other independents. They have the advantage, of course, of being elected already, and I'm not so presumptuous as that at all. I think this campaign in Melbourne is going to go down to the wire. I think there are a lot of people who probably even right now are making up their minds. I'd like to talk to the other independents about reforming the democratic processes within Parliament to make it easier for third-party voices to get their views heard within Parliament.
Adam Bandt, we learnt this week that the Electrical Trades Union donated more than $300,000 to your campaign. Does that mean the Greens are captive to the unions?
Well, they didn't actually donate that much. They donated a fraction of that, and I think if you look at how much unions across the board would have donated to Labor's campaign, I think we've been dwarfed. We've run a grassroots campaign, but what's happening is that a number of people across the board, including in the union movement, are saying, well look, when Labor's had power, they've really failed to deliver. We even had the fourth most senior minister in the country representing us here in Melbourne, and he wasn't able to turn the ship around on climate change, on asylum seekers or same-sex marriage. And that's something that we offer, and that's why people are looking to us. Get those issues and those values that matter to people in Melbourne of compassion, sustainability and equality back on the national agenda.
Very briefly, your position on the following three issues: the timing of an emissions trading scheme.
We need to get an emissions trading scheme up as soon as possible. We need a price on carbon immediately, not by 2013 as Labor wants, but immediately, and I would move for that in the Parliament if I'm elected.
Asylum seekers and the East Timor solution?
We need to begin processing people here onshore in Australia. We shouldn't be sending fairness offshore. We can do it here in Australia. We should end mandatory detention, and that is going to be one of my priorities in the first term of Parliament.
And your view on same-sex marriage?
Well, not only do I support same-sex marriage, and not only does my party support same-sex marriage, but I will vote for it as well. And what we need is for people no longer to be just speaking in private behind closed doors about this, but speaking out in public, moving legislation in Parliament, and that's when we're going to start to see real change.
All right, if I can now go to Kath Botel, who is the ALP candidate for the seat of Melbourne.